everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now if you are new here, my name is Hayley and we moved to Canada in 2021 on an LMIA, which is kind of like a work sponsorship. We are now going through PR and hopefully, I think the processing time is 11 months. We should have it by maybe the beginning of next year, all being well, maybe sooner, but 11 months is the processing time. And our PR application, the entire application, has just been submitted on the 6th of March 2023. So welcome. Please do like my videos and subscribe to my channel if you want to keep updated. I try and be regular, but as anybody who knows me, it's not always possible. But to be fair, I have kind of taken a back seat recently because of obviously applying for PR, and there's been a lot of stress in getting the documentations together and goalposts moving, and so I kind of took a break from it. But I'm back and I'm here to talk to you about schools and graduating. So I live in British Columbia. I live in a small town on Vancouver Island. So my vlogs are all about my experiences and what I am learning as I'm going along and taking experiences from others. I have a Facebook group which has we've got over 1.3 thousand people on there, so if you would like to come along and reach out to us, then I'll put the link in the description, along with my Instagram. If you want to check out our life here in Canada, I post a lot more on there when it comes to what we do, so please do check that out. I've got lots of vlogs coming up this year, including all the camping that we're going to be doing, and all the fun activities we've got in place. If there are any vlogs that you want to see or you want to know about, or any subjects you want to know about, please do post it in the comments below or message me directly on Instagram. I always reply. So yeah, we're going to talk about graduation and schooling. So I have 3 children. I have one that's 7, she's in elementary school. I've got one that is 13, she is in middle school, and then I have one that is 16 and he is in secondary school, high school, whichever you want to call it. So I have my book and I have my ABC open up, so just bear with me, it may be a bitty bobby, but I'll do my best. So we are going to start off talking about subjects. Roll that wheel. So unlike the UK, there is a vast amount of subjects that the children can partake in. Now they do also have French immersion, which means basically that all their subjects is taught in French. There are specifically French immersion schools, but then there are also split, so they have half French immersion and half English spoken, which is in this high school. We have French immersion elementary and middle schools, but we have a mixed high school. So yeah, there's vast. So you have to do the normal subjects, which is English, math, science, and there's also, what do they call it here, careers. They are, and PE as well. Now within those subjects there are different options that you can choose. So creative writing, for example, is under English. If you want to do the separate sciences, but they also have marine biology. Well, that's with maths is very different here as well. So they have things like workplace mathematics, so if you're not as mathematically inclined and you don't need it to go into university and maybe you want to go and do an apprenticeship, people can choose workplace mathematics, or they can do calculus and pre-calculus and calculus, amongst other things. There are so many subjects. My children are really embracing all the subjects that are available to them. For example, genocide studies is one that Charlie's doing. Evelyn really is excited for moving up to secondary school because she wants to do film and she wants to do photography and she wants to do musical theatre. She doesn't want to do the stage part, but she wants to do the behind the scenes. So it's very different, very, very different. They have so many different options, and when it comes to elementary and middle school, it's all set. There is no choices. In middle school, they can choose their exploratories. So Evelyn's done swimming, they do like badminton, volleyball, rugby, and all types of things like that, cooking, textiles. So that, and they can choose their exploratory, and they change throughout the year. But when you move into the higher level school, so when you go into high school, so grade 9, you make your choices for grade 9, and then obviously so on and so forth through to grade 12. They have different types of PE. So this school has a weight room and a gym. So part of one of the options for PE is strength and fitness and strength training. Or there is, so what's the one that Charlie's doing at the minute? He's doing recreation, so that's a lot, that's very different. So they go out into the community and they do different things like kayaking, swimming, they go and do rugby, they're doing as well, hiking, mountain biking. They go off and do lots of different things, and it doesn't always stay within school, which is really good. It's also very different here when it comes to how the high school works with their schooling system. So with all your subjects you choose, you do careers throughout the year, and then you have it quarterly. So for the first quarter of the year, they will do 2 subjects. So they'll do like English all morning and then recreation all afternoon. And then second quarter it changes to the next 2, and then so on and so forth. So that they found that it's easier because the kids are doing it intensively and all at once. So when it comes to doing their the coursework, etc., they're actually finding it easy instead of doing lots of different subjects throughout the entire year. So yeah, there's so many more subjects out there, and I really do struggle to keep up. I will see if I can post a copy of the options. I can post a copy. Let me just see if I can grab one up so I can reel it off. Okay, so I've got one, so just bear with me while I read it. So they have options here. So their mandatory subjects are English, maths, science, social studies, PE, and careers. Within that, they can choose physical. So within PE, they can choose physical and health education, hockey academy, or soccer academy. There are academies, I'm going to touch on that as we go through, because they're slightly different. So they then have electives, and they've got to choose 3 electives, and then 3 backups. So the elective options are, on top of doing the normal, those others that I've just mentioned, introductory to math. Now, this is really good for those students that do struggle with math and want to do a pre-course prior to doing grade 9 math. So that is an option. Then we've got French, Spanish, marine biology, drama, musical theatre, film, visual arts, so art studies, photography, computer science, drafting, which is kind of like maybe graphics, maybe the best way to describe that one. Electronics and robotics, metalwork, woodwork, food studies, which is an part of the Eco Academy. So there's a different spin on that. So they look at how food is grown and how it can be done more environmentally friendly. They also have textiles, sustainability, super fit, strength and conditioning. Then they also have the junior hockey, athlete training, soccer training, and golf. And that's grade 9. Let me just see if I can see grade 10 for you. Selection 10 to 12. Love it off the cuff, eh? Scrolly downy. School plan, let's see. No. Okay, so there are some extra different ones that you can choose once you get into grade 10, 11, 12. So you've got things like active living, anatomy and physiology, the languages, calculus, chemistry, physics, biology. Then you've got different types of careers within your options, so you can choose a subject to specialise in for careers. Composition, computer studies, creative writing, which I said goes under composition, and creative writing goes under English. Culinary arts, which is different to food, so they actually have a working kitchen and they go in there and they will learn how to work in an actual kitchen, doing different jobs that you would do within a kitchen prep environment. And they learn how to cook properly. So they've got drama, so touching on film and television, digital media development, so like marketing and things like that, drama, theatre company. They've got, keep going down, literacy studies, writing, English language, English first peoples. Then keep going, bear with me, pre-calculus and mathematics. Food studies, as I said, they're completely different subjects. French, fitness and conditioning. It's the way that they've listed this, it's really difficult to read. Genocide studies, which is what Charlie's doing. Human geography, band, life science, law studies, marketing and promotion, music, musical theatre we've touched on, new media, outdoor education, which is like camping and stuff. They go off and do things like that. Normal PE, pre-calculus, science core. Golly, they've got loads, so much more options. Art, metal and jewellery making, social studies, specialised studies in food, electronics, robotics, machine and welding, metalwork, textiles, studio arts, graphic arts, film, visual photography, and keep on going, I've got 2 more pages. 20th century world history, workplace math, task, workforce training. I'm going to touch on task in a minute because there's more information on that one. Woodwork, metal instrument making, robotics, leadership, English strategies for success, golf skills, sports performance, which covers basketball, hockey, athletic skills, sports performance, again basketball. And the last one is super fit and strength and conditioning, recreation, marine biology, sustainability, winter drumline, no idea what that is. So they are just a few on the list for the high school here where I live. So as I said, they've got lots of options available. So I did want to talk to you a little bit about graduation. So when it comes to graduating, once you get to grade 9, you have an option. So you can choose within your 3 selectives a grade 10 course which counts towards your graduation credits. Now each class that you take is worth 4 credits, and you need 80 credits to graduate come grade 12. You don't have to in grade 9 take electives that would give you those course credits. It's just sometimes it's better to do that so that you're kind of putting yourself ahead of the game. I think Charlie will graduate with almost just over 100 credits, so he's well over the line when it comes to that. And he only started in grade 10, so he didn't have that first year. He started in grade 10. We've had to learn this as we go along. I found it really stressful because I kept worrying that he's not going to graduate, which clearly that's not the case. But yeah, going into year 9, in grade 9, they can choose electives that can sit towards their graduation credits. But then from grade 10 onwards, everything they choose is credits towards graduating. There are summer programs for those that don't hit the mark, so you do have to hit a certain mark within your course to actually complete or pass that course. If you don't pass it, then you're not going to get the marks, which means that you're going to have to go fishing for somewhere else. If kids have a job and actually are out there working, a lot of kids here do have a job. From the age of 14 you can legally work X amount of hours. So a lot of the kids here do actually have their own jobs, and that also counts towards graduating, and they can get credits for that as well, because they do also have to complete a 30-hour element, whether it's free voluntary work or working. Obviously Charlie, bless him, has to do it voluntarily because he can't work because he's on a visitor visa. He couldn't work on a study permit either, with him being under 18. It is what it is. So next thing I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, I'm going to bring it up in the background so I've got it, is TASK. Now TASK stands for, bear with me, TASK stands for Trades, Awareness, Skills and Knowledge. So from grade 10, I do believe, or 11, grade 11, you can opt into TASK. So depending what school you go to, depends on what area that they specialise in. Charlie's school specialises in metals, which is really good because he wants to do plumbing. If he wanted to do carpentry, there is another one at Belmont, I think, that does carpentry, that specialises in that area. But what this is I say they specialise, so they do specialise in metals, but it's not the only thing that they focus on. So what happens is half of the year they spend doing TASK, which is kind of like a apprenticeship. So they will go to school some of the time. The rest of the time they will go to a local college. For us it's Campson College, and they will go there and they will try multiple different trades throughout the first or last half of the year, and that's all they do. And that actually counts for a huge amount of credits for their last year. And they'll go and they'll try different, like carpentry, plumbing, welding. Oh golly, there's absolutely loads. There's a big list of them, but I can't remember what they are specifically. Oh, here we go. So your courses will include welding, plumbing, metal fabrication, heavy duty mechanics. That's under metal. If you go on to look at the carpentry, they do like furniture design and all sorts like that, but that is an option that they can take, which then obviously could lead into either further education within Camerson or straight into an apprenticeship. But this definitely gives them a leg up, and this is what Charlie has applied for. Now, to get onto TASK, you've actually got to fill in an application form, submit your CV and a cover letter to school, and then there's an interview process for it. We're just waiting for it. I think they close the dates mid this month for application for TASK. So fingers crossed Charlie gets it, because he wants to be a plumber. It's good money over here. So he wants to get his red seal in plumbing. Again, that's something I'll link below to the BC government website, and you can have a read of it in a bit more depth. Something else I'm going to touch on would be like breaks, as in school breaks and vacations, start times, finishing times, things like that. So schools are again slightly different here. So Freya finishes at like 2:30, 2:38. So do the older two, Monday to Thursday. The older two finish between 12 and 1 on Friday. And that's it. They have a lot of what they call D days, which are like teacher training days back in the UK. They do get a lot of those, so be prepared for them. Vacation. So vacation time's different here. So they don't have all these teeny weeny little term times. So they have Christmas, they have spring break. They then don't have anything until summer. So yeah, that's it. But they have lots of bank holidays in between. So they have Christmas, spring break and summer off. Summer's like a solid 2 months. So they have from the end of June until the first week of September off. Which actually I really enjoy, because we get the best months of the year all together. So we do lots of camping, or we will be doing this year. I finally brave enough to go into a tent. I did want to buy a travel trailer, or caravan as we know it, but they are extortionate, and we are trying to save to buy a house, and things over here are extremely expensive at the minute. So yeah, tent it is. We'll see how that goes. I don't do well in tents. It's a running joke in my family. I really don't do well in tents. I need solid walls. the last time that I went camping, we bought all this stuff. It cost us about £1,000 to get a massive tent and all the bits that go with it. We turned up, set up. By 11 o'clock on that night, I was sat in the loo in absolute panic because I got fed up with the walls moving. I get really motion sickness, and we stayed at a place called Crow's Nest in Yorkshire. So where is it near? Where those big whale bones are, where Dracula's supposed to have landed on the shores, and it's really going to bother me that I can't remember what it's called. Whitby. We went up to Whitby and we stayed at a place called Crow's Nest, and it's literally on the top of a cliff, and the wind was extreme. We had to double peg it down and it was still popping up. So when I say the tent was moving, traumatized me, I kid you not, I put that thing up for sale, and before we left that day we'd actually sold the whole lot, and I've never camped since. So as I said, we're trying to save up to buy a house once we get PR. So I like to go and have breaks away, and having a hotel for 5 of us is crazy price. So for the cost of like $20 a night, we can go camping at some beautiful lakes on the island, a couple of hours away from where we live. So why not? If I get eaten by a bear and you never see me again, you know. Anywho, back on track. Academies. Now there are absolutely loads of different types of academies that children can partake in, and that means they'd spend a lot of time doing these sports, and they've got to be particularly good at the sport because you've got to try out for it. So here we have hockey, which you all know it's ice hockey, but in Canada it ain't ice hockey, it's just hockey. Basketball, rugby, horse riding, I think that's it, and maybe golf as well, depending where you are. So yeah, that's quite a fair few. Oh, soccer academy as well, football, soccer. There are academy options that you can choose. Evelyn wants to do horse riding when she comes up. Just mind you do have to pay for them, so that'll cost us over $1,000 for the year for her to do it, and you are in charge of getting them to and from those activities. It's not run by a bus or school. Well, I lie. I think hockey you'd probably get away with it, and soccer that they may run school buses for that, but they are another option for your children. Lunch times here, they get about half an hour, I think, but I think in Alberta and some other places you actually have to pay for your children to remain in school during lunchtime. BC you don't, but I know other places that you do, so you're paying for that lunchtime supervision. I think if people are struggling financially, but I don't know if it's available to people coming over here on immigrant. If you know about it, to me, I think if you're coming over, expect that to get handouts. That's the wrong attitude to have. So just be prepared to pay for things like that. Getting to school, lots of different options depending how far away you are and what the weather is where you live. It's quite mild where we are, so we're very lucky. So the kids can walk, they can bus it. Now where I live, it's $25 for the year for the bus per child, because a lot of it's subsidised by the government. My friend in Alberta said hers is about $800 for the year, because it's not subsidised by the provincial government. So it is completely depend where you live, whether you can, how much it is. And how that works is that you apply at the beginning of the year. They look at where everybody lives and they come up with spots to pick people up depending on where you will live, and it's kind of central to a number of different people. So it's not a bus stop like you'd go to a normal bus stop. They tell you where they're going to pick them up, and that's where they pick them up all year. Also with that in mind, that it can be mixed buses. So my 7-year-old gets a bus with her 16-year-old brother because they're all mixed, because of the driver shortages that we've got over here. So it is what it is. As I said, you can walk and you can bike, and the other option is car. So obviously in Canada people can learn to drive at a different age. In Alberta it's 14. I would not let my 14-year-old drive a car. In fact, he's 16 coming up 17, and I still will not want him to drive a car. Oh, give me strength. But with what you do is you have to register the car at school and get a parking pass to park at in the car park. Sometimes that costs, sometimes that does not. I think it's like $30 for the year here to park in the student car park. So they are the options on getting to school. And I've talked to you about graduation. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. It's been a long old waffly way, but I've been promising people I'll get this information out, and so I have. I think I've got some footage of when we went for the grade 9 meeting for Evelyn starting high school, so I will input that in here as well. But thanks for joining me. I know I'm a pain in the arse and I'm not always bloody vlogging as much as I did, but I'm struggling with motivation. I'm struggling with things to show you, and that's just because our money has massively been tied up with PR. Things are extremely expensive at the minute here. I mean, I'm paying $300 to $400 a week for food for a family of 5, so just keep that in mind. But I do have a extremely fast growing son who eats like crazy, and my husband works in construction, so obviously physical labor. They just eat loads. Electric and gas and things like that, super cheap. Car gas not so much at the minute, not for us anyway. They are in other places, but yeah, life is expensive, so we ain't going nowhere too fast. So you're gonna have to wait for all the good stuff coming up in summer, because it's free, weather's better. So thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye.